Chicago Bears
Ooh.
and this Chicago Bear team as they take on the Green Bay Packers in Soldier Field. First playoff game there in a while. That crowd was insane. They had the cheese graters out. It was fantastic. Did not start great.
No, it did not.
Down 21-3 at the half. Jordan Love piecing up this offense, or this defense, I mean. And Caleb Williams just being frustrated, crashing out on the sideline, cursing out his teammates. And Ben Johnson looking like Dexter, not showing any emotion whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And it got even worse. We got to the fourth quarter. They were down 18, or I think it was 18 points, 16, 18 points, around there. But that's where the Bears love it.
Yep.
That's where they strike. They were down 16. That's where they strike. This is what they do. You can never count this Bear team out of the game. Even when they go down by a lot, even when they get a touchdown, the Packers come right down the field, go touchdown again. They get the ball back, they just keep moving the ball. And shout out to this Bear defense in the second half. Basically shut down that Packer offense. Held them to a touchdown. Swallowed Jordan Love up. Gave them nothing to run against. And, you need a little bit of luck in the playoffs. Packers miss a field goal. Evan McPherson, what are we doing? And ended up costing the Packers here as the Bears needed a touchdown to go down the field. And it's Caleb Williams just absolutely driving the ball right down their throat. 4th and 5, he's jumping in the air to get the ball down the field. And then they get DJ Moore on a fake screen pass for the touchdown. And the Bears take the lead. They go up 31-27. The Packers can get nothing. Jordan Love has a bad snap because the Packers center got hurt. New center, bad snap. Jordan Love scrambling for his life. Throws the ball in the end zone. It's incomplete. And the Bears win. And we bear down. We still bear down. So shout out to Caleb Williams. He played his ass off. Really had a really good game. Calvin Unga and DeAndre Swift kind of did their thing a little bit. Didn't dominate, but they were really good. But that Bears defense, when it mattered most, came up clutch. And they bared the fuck down. And they sent Green Bay packing home. So shout out to the Bears, the 2 seed. That crowd was great. Still going on. Ben Johnson had a great play calling performance, in my opinion, especially in that second half, in that fourth quarter. They never gave up. They never like going down 21-3 at the half. You felt like it was over. We felt like it was over. We were playing video games during the third quarter.
I was looking at real estate opportunities. I was looking at apartments in New York City. I was trying to really come up on profit here, guys.
Yeah, but the Bears struck gold and they get the win. And the Packers, yeah, I mean, look, they had a great start. They executed. They had a game plan. They executed it. Took advantage of their opportunities, but that second half they had nothing. And I think that is a credit to the Bears defense. But if you're Matt LaFleur and this Packers offense, you need to do more. Mm-hmm. You cannot be complacent in the playoffs. You cannot allow teams to come back into games like that. You have to make every possession matter. Every 3 and out is basically a turnover at this point. And the Packers just gave up too many of those, especially on offense. They were not good enough. Yeah. Jordan Love was not good enough in that second half. You need that killer blow and that killer instinct, and the Packers just didn't have it. So, shout out to the Bears coming from behind again to get a win. Another fourth quarter comeback. This team is clutch. This team is money in the fourth quarter. They always find a way to win. They get it done here.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote them off. Keep it real, right? We're kicking field goals. It's 21-6, right? 21-9, going into the fourth quarter. And we're sitting here, and I'm like, all right, guys, let's play Balloons Tower Defense. Let's do Perry Pick'ems. Let's pick a nice fantasy team. Let's see if I can get the perfect lineup, And then quietly, the Bears start to come back. And then you're like, okay, DeAndre Swift, touchdown, 21-16. All right, now we got a game. But then the Packers score immediately. Pretty much in 4 minutes, Matthew Golden, touchdown. And you're like, okay. Brandon McManus missing that extra point. Big fucking money. It was big money because the Packers, the Bears didn't need that touchdown. They didn't. They could have tied the game. If push came to shove, could have tied the game. Take it to overtime. You got the momentum. Likelihood of you winning is high. But they said, fuck it. When it comes down to the fourth quarter, I don't know what type of sauce they have in Chicago, what they're putting in that deep dish. But boy, these motherfuckers know how to ball and be clutch in the fourth quarter. And like it's almost like we forget the first half because of how clutch they are in the fourth quarter. But it's like, damn, like you fucking guys really sucked in the first half. And then all of a sudden we're coming back, we're climbing. The game is never over when you're playing the Chicago Bears. It's never over. You cannot get complacent against this team. You cannot. It's like, you know, I'm going to say it. It's kind of like playing Patrick Mahomes, right? It's kind of like you're playing these elite guys who always seem to get into positions where you can make plays. You always seem to have the ball. So it's one of those things where the Bears were never really out of it. They were just waiting for their time to strike, and they got their opportunities, and Caleb Williams balled his ass off in the fourth quarter, and Ben Johnson get a win, and, you know, Matt LaFleur's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
You know, shit's tough, bro. Like this type of collapse, only scoring, 6 points in the second half, that's horrendous. That's horrific. We're only scoring with 6 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. That's horrific. And I understand, like, Bears second half, it's good. You were dominating them in the first half. What changed? What really changed? Right? You telling me we can't adjust on the fly here? You telling me whatever they're doing had you scrambled so much that we only scored 6 points? That's bad coaching. Bad coaching. That's it. And then Ben Johnson put it on a coaching masterclass because it didn't matter what happened in the first half. That shit's over with. We have to play for the right now. We have to play for these 30 minutes. And we have to be the better team. And they were. And they proved why they were. And, yeah, they're going to the fucking divisional. Bear the fuck down, baby. Grate that cheese.
Bear the fuck down.
Grate that cheese, baby. Cheese
Yeah.
what? Cheese what?
Yeah, I think I'll chime in on Matt LaFleur too real quick before we move on. I don't know what the right decision is, whether you fire him or not. I think that's probably going to be debated, and we're going to find out what the decision is very soon. I think somebody needs to be held accountable for that. You cannot lose that game. You had that game won by the third quarter. By late in the fourth quarter, you had that game won, right? And I get it, players need to execute, need to kick a field goal. I get it, right? But at the end of the day, this is now becoming a constant thread with Matt LaFleur, is getting to this game and losing. Granted, he's been in 2 championship games in his career with Aaron Rodgers and 2 great teams when he first started. But ever since then, it's been a struggle. It hasn't been easy. He's had to, and it always seems like they're in a wild card game, they're close, but they don't win it. And while I get it, and we have this debate a lot on this channel, for some teams, that's fine. That's considered a successful year. But when I think it comes to Green Bay and that fan base and that standard that Green Bay has, I think it needs to be a little bit higher. I think Green Bay expects it to be higher. So I think with all that being considered, I think Matt LaFleur might be in serious contention to get fired here when all of that is put together. So, because somebody needs to be held responsible. And the John Harbaugh connection, I think if you look at the past couple of years, Green Bay thinking about their future and their future next couple of years with Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, is just getting to the wild card game enough for them? Or is it not? That's what's going to be determined in the next couple of days. We're going to figure out what this franchise is thinking going forward. Because is it enough or is it not?
Yeah.
Are they the Steelers or do they want to be the Chiefs? That's going to be their question.
And it's like when you had Aaron Rodgers, right? You go to the Super Bowl, and they had a history with Mike McCarthy getting to playoffs and losing, right? Winning a game, losing in a divisional, or making an NFC Championship game, and just choking, playing awful, right? So they want to, like, I know they like Matt LaFleur. They do. He's bring consistency to that organization, and he's won a lot of games, right? But when you're a certain type of organizations, you're like kind of legacy, you hold yourself to a different standard than some other schmuck team who's never had winning in their life. So as a Packers fan and as a Packers owner, you're saying we're the fucking Green Bay Packers. We're historic. We're legacy. We're better than a wild card. Way better. And I need to bring a guy in who could get the most out of our players, even if we're not as talented, so that we can fucking get to divisionals. We can get to championship games. And we could potentially win a championship game. Because with you, we had Aaron Rodgers, back-to-back MVPs, and you couldn't get it done. What does that say?
Right.
It says that you are not the guy to get it done. Because what if Jordan Love turns into that MVP? What if we have a similar roster like that? Is it going to be the same thing? Are we going to make poor coaching decisions and bad time management? So I guess they want to...
That one time out at the end of the game, by the way.
They want to find their guy who, even when the team isn't good, they feel like they still have a chance. So when the team is actually good, they feel like they're going to fucking wreak havoc and run the league. And Matt LaFleur just hasn't shown that. Sure, he's a good coach. Matt LaFleur is a good coach. Really good coach. Successful, has won, been to championship games, playoffs, all that.
But not a Super Bowl.
Not a Super Bowl. And that's what the Packers give a fuck about. They care about that. They hold themselves to a high standard, is Super Bowls. And they have not been back there since, 2010? Been a long-ass time.
Yeah.
It's been 15 years.
And granted, too, there's no guarantee that the next guy is going to get it done. There isn't. Right? There's a certain guarantee with Matt LaFleur, and that's fine. But I feel like we're at a point where you have to kind of take a risk here with Jordan Love because he is your quarterback. You've built a young team around him. You have young receivers. You have a young core. Your defense is still really young. You traded for Micah Parsons. You got the best defensive player in the league. If Matt LaFleur is not the guy, you got to see who's out there and go try to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Is it John Harbaugh? Is it Matt McDaniel? Or is it Matt LaFleur? That's going to be the question. The coaching pool is not that deep, but there are guys out there who have been there to that kind of level. Or do they feel like Matt LaFleur is the guy to take him to the promised land? I don't think so. You don't think so?
No.
They might think so.
They might. It's just like when you hold yourself to that standard, you kind of gotta understand a pattern. Pattern recognition is very important. Mm-hmm. And understanding patterns and how likely something is to happen, especially in the NFC and especially with your team and especially with how the cap's going to work and especially with how these other teams are going to be better, you kind of got to understand your positioning and where you're going to fall. And the Packers just won't be good enough for that. And Matt LaFleur won't elevate them past what they actually are in terms of expectations. And he hasn't done that. Because when they've had Super Bowl caliber teams, you fall short. When you have teams that are better than wild card, you fall short. So it's a constant state of falling short in any type of scenario. I think he's a great coach. I would love to have him on the Giants because I think that would be fantastic. I think it will bring stability to our organization and it will lay a foundation of winning football culture once again. But with the Packers, they've been winning for a long time. Winning regular season games ain't fucking good enough. Okay? This ain't a fucking piss poor organization. This is well run. This is historic. They want more. They want more. And Matt LaFleur just hasn't given them that taste. Like, if they would have went to a Super Bowl, maybe we wouldn't even have this conversation. If they would have won one, we wouldn't fucking be having this conversation. But they did not. That's the only reason why. Tough.
Tough.
Yep, tough shit.